Thank you, Sue. This is not good practice. This is the sort of boring ministerial civil servanty bit. Please don't film me on that. It's always difficult when you're standing in for a minister because you feel obliged to sort of try and say the sorts of things that you think she would have said. And civil servants writing speeches for ministers is often not a happy occasion, and they can come out exceedingly boring. I would try not to bore you. You'll probably see the joins between when I'm speaking sort of off the cuff and when I'm speaking ministerial speak. I remember, I think it was about 18 months ago, Sue, having a discussion when Kevin Brennan, who was minister at the time, was speaking at the Schools Out annual conference, I think. And Sue sent me a list of things that she thought it might be helpful for Kevin to say. And we looked through them and discussed them with Kevin. And we decided at the time that so far as we were concerned, and so far as DCSF or whatever we were called then, ministers were concerned, they were pretty much no-brainers, because what Sue was asking us to say was exactly what ministers wanted to say. So far as the DCSF is concerned, and I know other government departments as well, you can regard us, I think, as friends rather than as enemies. Indeed, I was called vile scum on the way in by these strange people who were standing outside the building holding out leaflets. And it reminded me how important these events actually are, and how important LGBT History Month actually is, and how important some of the things that the department has tried to do are. Sue mentioned that Diana's doing the education debate following the Queen's speech yesterday and talking about the Children's Schools and Families Bill. I mean, there is a read across in the sense that amongst the provisions in that bill are ones that will make personal social health and economic education, including sex and relationships education, part of the national, statutory national curriculum to be taught from the ages of 5 to 16. PSHE has not been statutory up until now, and for a whole variety of reasons, I think it's a positive step that it is now going to become statutory, and I'll come on to those in a minute. Ministerial bit. Schools already have, of course, a duty to promote equality of opportunity, irrespective of background, and we're going to continue to do what we can to support schools as they continue to try to embed equality in all that they do, importantly through a whole school approach, but also through their policies on the curriculum and in relation to behaviour. And certainly the school experience generally needs to reflect the day-to-day challenges that young people face in what is a now very diverse society. It's in schools that young people learn to challenge injustice, to challenge inequalities, to challenge discrimination, because the values and attitudes and beliefs that they acquire in those younger years are ones that they will take forward to them into adulthood. The specific change in relation to PSHE is significant because the curriculum, backed up by law, is an important as well as a precious tool in determining the kinds of experiences that children will undergo while they are at school. In the case of PSHE, we'll make it a requirement that teaching must comply with a number of principles. We want it to be accurate and balanced. We want it to be appropriate to the ages of the pupils concerned, and obviously to reflect a reasonable range of religious, cultural and other perspectives. And we want it to be taught in a way that endeavours to promote equality and encourages the acceptance of diversity and emphasises the importance of rights and responsibilities. And within the curriculum itself, what we will do is publish programmes of study, as they're called, which define the curriculum content or the types of things that children should experience. And again, that will have the force of law in the way that it hasn't previously. And I mean, just to give you one example, it's all available on, in particular, the QCDA website. To give you one example of what it says and which will now become statutory, it is that children, and I'm talking about the 11 to 14 age group just as an example here, should be taught to appreciate that in our communities there are similarities as well as differences between people of different race, religion, culture, ability or disability, gender, age or sexual orientation, and should be taught to understand that all forms of prejudice and discrimination must be challenged at every level in our lives. Again, it says end. I've had my 5 minutes. Sorry. Can I have 2 more? I just want to finish with 2 quotes from Ed Balls. I was going to talk about bullying and all the work we've been doing in relation to transphobic bullying that Sue has worked closely with us on, and all the work that we're continuing to do on that, and the work we've done in relation to the packs, the leaflets that you've got in your packs about bullying that takes place outside schools as well as inside schools. I normally chair meetings better than this, but let me finish with 2 quotes from Ed Balls, which signal, I hope, the department's and the government's views on this. The first is that we have got much more to do because discrimination and prejudice are still prevalent in the playground, and I don't think anyone would disagree with that. The second is, finding my place, homophobic insults should be viewed as seriously as racism. And that's the view that ministers have, that's the view that ministers want to get put across in the curriculum, in schools' behaviour policies, and that's the end. Thank you.